So we're going to go around the table once more. So what is your current relationship status? Are you single, talking stage, situationship, friends with benefits, relationship, married, polycule, sex, cult, harem? If you're single, how long have you been single? And what's the longest relationship you've ever been in? Go ahead.
That's a lot of questions. Can we do one at a time?
Sure. So, okay, current relationship status.
I am currently single.
Okay. How long have you been single?
I have been single for 4 years.
Okay. Longest relationship?
8 years.
8 years. Okay. Oh, whoops. Hold on.
I would say I'm currently in my fuckboy stage because most of my life I was in relationships.
You're currently in your fuckboy stage.
Is it sexist? Should I say fuck girl?
Well, you know, that's interesting. I've thought of that before, and me personally, I don't have an issue with it, but there is a cohort of women that seems to object to the term slut, and it would occur to me that fuckboy is the counterpart to the word slut,
Yeah,
or so.
I'd prefer if you said bang maid.
Bang
I feel
maid.
like bang maid is better.
I feel like
I
that
don't even know what you're saying.
doesn't denote what a fuckboy is, though. A bang mate doesn't have the same, like...
Yeah, but you can still be a fuckboy and not be fucking.
True.
So, and I feel like, I guess you could be a slut and not be slutting.
That is true.
I also feel like slut has a lot of negative connotation as opposed to fuckboy. Would you agree?
Fuckboy is not a positive. Women typically use that in a derogatory sense.
Not as derogatory as slut.
Yeah, I feel like
Perhaps not to the same degree, but I don't think it's like, if a girl calls a guy a fuckboy, I don't think there's any, like, oh, this is an upstanding,
It's not to be nice.
But how do
it's not
men
to be
feel
nice.
about that term?
How do
Isn't
m-
that something where you derive pride from because you sleep with a lot of women?
If you're proud of
Who-
sleeping with a lot of
I'm
women.
just asking, yeah,
You mean
from a
you-
man's point of view.
Yeah, so I mean,
From a what?
as you may know, all men are different, and some have different virtues than other men. So not
Would you
all
say
men.
fuckboy is more of like a offensive term?
Well, I would say that it's not used in a way towards men in order to be nice. It doesn't seem like a nice thing for a girl
I don't think
to
it's
do.
mean. I think they're saying like this guy isn't seeking a relationship, but I think a girl is still willing to date a fuckboy if he converts. But I don't think a guy is going to date a slut if he deems her a slut.
Oh, they do it frequently.
All the time.
They do
I
it
feel like a
Guys
fuck-
love
yeah.
sluts.
It's,
Maybe not
it's ill-advised.
seriously.
It's ill-advised.
I don't
but-
think those are the guys who are calling girls sluts. Is my point.
Wait, which ones are not calling women?
The
women?
ones who are willing to date the quote-unquote sluts, I don't think are
They
deemed
might.
sluts.
Yeah, I
never
think
know.
they do.
They might.
You
They
think
do.
they're just like, this girl's such a slut?
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna
come on! It's
wife
like
her?
they go like they're like, I banged the slut last night. Come on, they
No,
do.
banged. I said dating. I think a girl would date a fuckboy if he got his shit together and became
Like a
relationship
reformed.
material.
I've heard the term
They're
reformed
saying
fuckboy.
fuckboy as in like he doesn't want a relationship, but guys don't want relationships with the sluts. Is my point. But girls would date.
No,
a
they get in
fuckboy.
relationships with them quite
Well,
frequently.
they'll get in the relationships and it's just like they know it's not going anywhere serious.
Men, they act like they don't, but they love whores. Like, they wife up strippers, they wife up like... They wife up girls who do porn. I know a lot of girls who do content creation that are all in like super happy relationships. I don't know. I think it's like you don't want to tell your friends that your girl's a slut, but deep down, like everyone likes hoes. Not everyone, but or
Maybe
you
in
get like a
LA.
cool, you get like a fun wife that, or like a chill wife that doesn't really do much, but you got a little
I think-
slut on the side.
I think the opposite's true, and that most men probably don't want to have a chick who's been with a lot of men.
I said they like sluts. If they don't want to date them, whatever, but guys definitely, they be wifing them up. I see it.
And I know slutty girls that like don't do sex stuff, but like you would look at them and be like, she's slutty.
Yeah, like I think a lot of guys would cuff an Instagram model, even though they would objectively say like she's a bit slutty.
In high school, one of my friends was like deemed like the biggest slut, was bullied so bad she had to drop out of high school. And meanwhile, she was like the biggest virgin of everyone in the grade. So
No.
it was interesting.
Okay, so, jeez, I don't know what's going on out there.
They're probably coming here.
Yeah. So here's the delineation. If a chick has sex with a lot of men, she's a slut, right? But if she just dresses provocatively, we have a name for them too. We call them skanks. So there's a
Okay.
distinction, right?
So there's,
I've
like,
never heard
skank,
someone
slut.
under 30 say skank.
As
I
so
don't
like
think
skank,
that's
Yeah, well,
slut,
I mean,
whore.
the younger generation needs to learn the word. It needs to come
Okay.
back.
Fair.
Yeah.
Love it. Kind of 80s.
Well, so okay, going back to you. You can leave it. You can leave it a little closed, Nick. It's gonna get chilly. Just Nick, come on. So you've been single for 4 years. Longest relationship was 8 years. When did your 8-year like? How old were you when you had this 8-year relationship?
Are you trying to figure out my age, Brian? That's not gonna
You don't
work.
need to be obtuse. Like, come on, people here. Okay, if I were to Google your name, would there be disclosures about your age?
You can try.
Mira, I don't even know your last name. Mira age, I don't know. Mira Twitch age, 1990. Famousbirthdays.com.
That's a good source. That's
Yeah,
reliable.
I mean, no, I don't. It might not be accurate, but
I was 16 when I first started that relationship. That was my
Okay.
first year in college.
we're just gonna say that you're 33. How's that sound?
Whatever works for you, Brian.
Okay, I'm writing down 33. If you'd like to correct the record, feel free.
That's fine.
Okay, so you said you were 16 when you started that. So you from 16 to 20. Jesus, I can't do math right now. 16 to what? 23, 24? About? Would you say?
Sorry, that was a cool animation. Yeah, somewhere in there.
Okay. Okay, fine. You want to be obtuse about the whole age thing. You said you're currently in your fuck boy phase. What does that look like? What do you mean when you say that?
I think there's so much in the world that I have not experienced yet because I was quite closed-minded. That's how I was raised, in quite conservative ways, at least like sexually. That now I'm just doing whatever feels right, even though there's still a little bit of a stigma because I was raised in that conservative way.
What feels right?
I'm trying to listen more to my body and like what feels good, what is interesting, what's fun, and just go along with that.
Which is what?
Like whatever I feel in the moment.
You said whatever feels right in your body.
Yes.
What does that mean?
You want me to describe like how a woman gets aroused, Brian?
No, that's not what I'm asking. But like, how does that practically manifest itself when it comes to dating? Are you dating multiple people? Are you seeing multiple people? Or what are we talking about here? Because you said fuck boy.
Right.
So
I think I was a little too harsh with that word. But basically, I am meeting as many people as I can right now and trying to get to know them to see if there's connection, whether it's physical, mental, any type of attraction, like opportunity for growth. Because I notice a lot of times people will get attracted if you have something they're lacking or they have something you're lacking, and you kind of like fill in those holes, and you're just like growing together to a better self. So that's what's very stimulating to me.
okay. So you complete each other, sort of, like a puzzle
Sorta.
piece.
Like,
if, for example, a guy is broke, since you're a very successful content creator, you would be prepared to, provide financially because he's lacking in
Honestly,
that department.
I'm a little
John
tired of
Smith
that.
donated $100. Can you ask Andrew if he's been in the military before? Last time he made some comments about WMs that I thought were pretty uncool if he's never served. And if he says Air Force or CG, that's a no.
That did not mean to trigger the alert should be higher, but I'll fix it. Go ahead, Andrew, if you want to.
Yeah, so everything I said about WMs is correct. I was in the Army for a short amount of time, not for very long. I had a medical discharge.
Gotcha. Just a point. Sorry, guys. There was an error there. Just to be clear, TTS trigger is 200 and up, but that was our fault. Just want to make it clear to everybody. Go ahead.
So question was, would I provide for a male if he was not doing as well as me financially? Did I get the question right?
Sure.
I think that's what I have been doing so far, and I would say I'm tired of that. I would prefer
Okay.
somebody who's on my level or higher, just for
Sure.
variety purposes.
Gotcha. Okay. And you said you were in an 8-year relationship. When did that end? How long ago did that 8-year relationship end?
I don't remember. I think you're better in math than me.
Okay. You've been single for 4 years. So for that 4-year period, have you been in the fuckboy stage as you?
I was trying. Yeah, it's still a little hard. Like,
Okay.
imagine you being raised traditionally. You still have like so many limits in your mind that
Limits or
yeah, like you think
beneficial?
you want something.
values and mindsets?
Artificial. What do you mean by that?
Well, you said you were raised traditionally, and you said that's limiting.
Yes.
But I'm asking, could it perhaps be a beneficial instead of a limiting thing?
I don't know. I'm not too sure. One thing I figure out is that life is really short, and we should enjoy it.
Translation: sleep with a bunch of men?
I think if I were to tell you my number, you will not believe it. Like, it doesn't come to the number. It comes down to how much you enjoy what you do. Because sometimes I notice women sleep with men, they're not even enjoying it.
That's
like,
true.
Why? Why do that?
I wonder the same thing.
You don't know until you find out, right?
Actually, that's a good point too. Without trying, how would you know?